I can see why he had the kind of success that he had at Auburn and at Carolina, and talking to people from that were with him there, the things that they said about him at Auburn and at Carolina from a decade ago or 2-3 years ago or even last year, it's all the same. And it showed up here. He's an extremely hard worker. Nobody works harder than Cam does. He's here early, he stays late, and he works very hard. Some players like to work on things that they're good at, like if you're strong on a bench press and you just keep throwing more weight on the bench. But Cam's the type of player that, works on things that he's not as good at and really tries to improve on a daily basis. And that's something that, I really respect about him. Like, that's not easy for players, really any of us, to do. Is look at something that we don't feel like we're very good at, or it's not one of our strengths, and put extra time into it when, that's a natural tendency is to, do things you're good at.
Bill Belichick, coach of the New England Patriots, with some high praise for quarterback Cam Newton. Before we address that, because there's plenty to dissect there, Chris.
Yeah.
We had a montage of photos while Belichick was talking. And on 2 different occasions, I saw who I think is Josh McDaniels. It's hard to tell with the mask on.
I think so.
Without the mask covering the nose. People, let me just take advantage of this platform for 10 seconds and say, why even bother wearing a mask if you're not going to cover your nose with it? And you'd like to think that people who supposedly are smart understand it has to cover your nose or it isn't doing you any damn good. Chris, I'm astounded when I see that. Just take the damn mask off if you're not going to cover your nose with it.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't know what the issue is. We see other coaches out there with no mask on. I mean, again, this is...
Then take it off. If it's not covering your nose, there's no point.
Okay, I'm with you. I hear you. I got you.
All right.
You're right. All
right. Enough of that.
Back to football.
It drives me crazy, and I don't want to call it a pet peeve. This is a big deal.
Yeah.
You're going to walk around with that damn thing on your face, wear it the right way or don't wear it.
I understand that. I understand. Go ahead.
Remember when we were talking about Bryce Love, who had played with Cam Newton in Carolina and Tom Brady?
Kyle Love, not Bryce Love.
Kyle Love.
Right.
Bryce Love.
Right.
Bryce Love plays for Washington. Kyle Love is the guy who
was
playing defensive tackle for the 2 teams. Kyle Love, thank you. Kyle Love said this isn't going to work, basically, because they're going to coach this guy hard, and they're going to chew him out, and they're going to beat him down, and he's been coddled his entire career. Well, that sure doesn't sound like they're beating him down. That's high praise from Bill Belichick. I don't remember Bill Belichick ever saying nobody works harder than Tom Brady. Is he saying that Cam Newton works as hard or harder than Tom Brady? If so, man, that's something.
It is something. I mean, definitely. Like Bill Belichick wouldn't be saying that right there. He doesn't say that about people. So that must be something that jumps out to him. And also, I just feel like he was almost saying that so Cam Newton could hear it. So Cam Newton might know, like, hey, I appreciate that you work on your weaknesses and you're doing that. Those are things that Cam Newton, he's going to read that quote sometime today. Someone's going to tell him about it, whatever it is. And that's going to embolden him to do it even more. So I don't know. Again, we know we're not going to hear from New England who's the starting quarterback, but the way they've been talking about Cam and just the things you're hearing, it just seems like he's doing everything, and they're starting to frame it at this guy is our leader. We hear about energy. We hear about Julian Edelman talking about how hard he works and what a specimen he is. You're hearing about other players mention that. And now for Bill Belichick to be saying that means he must be impressing that way. And there's a lot to like, I guess, from what Bill is looking at to this point.
2 other observations. One, it's entirely possible that Cam Newton is taking it behind the scenes.
Right.
That they're coaching him hard, and that Belichick realizes he needs to give him the praise on the other end to get Cam to continue to buy in and not get frustrated with hard coaching, especially once they have game film that they can break down in front of the full room, and maybe there's some stuff Cam Newton didn't do the way he should have. Secondly, we can't rule out the possibility that Bill Belichick has learned a lesson from the way it ended with Tom Brady. Because why did Tom Brady reach the end of his rope with Bill Belichick? Because Tom Brady never heard the kinds of things that Bill Belichick just said about Cam Newton.
Yeah.
That Bill Belichick withheld his praise, withheld his affection. There's this old school mindset that if you spend too much time praising someone for a job well done, they're going to get complacent. They're going to get soft. they're not going to be as hungry. They're not going to be as driven. When in reality, sometimes that praise lights your fire even more brightly than it already was, Chris.
Right. Agreed, Mike. I found that a lot of times when coaches were like that, it made me want to do it more, made me want to be a better leader, make me work harder. Man, I want to play really good because I don't want to disappoint you, coach, who's been saying all of that. So I think that's a very real aspect. And, who knows? Bill might have his reasons of why he was a little harder on Tom Brady, as you, Brent, mentioned all the time with the Wes Welker thing that I've told you. They always felt like he played better pissed off. So I'm sure he knew how to needle Brady in the correct way and all of that too. But let's not forget a little bit. Brady wasn't a mainstay during off-season workouts the last few years. There was other parts of his career, too, where Brady, he was dabbling with the California house and being out there and not being part of the offseason. I'm sure that rubbed New England the wrong way. I mean, it's New England. We know it rubbed them the wrong way. But I don't think this has got anything to do with that right now. I think this is more about this team right now. He likes what he's seeing from Cam, and he's really impressed by the work ethic, and I think he's trying to encourage that because I'm sure it's not perfect every day out there in practice. And New England's coaches, as much as they're in your face, they have a great way. How do I say this, Mike? They don't play mind games, right? There's no it's just like, hey, Cam, this guy was open. Throw him the ball. Didn't you read this Will linebacker here and what he did? And then they move on and coach the next play. They don't give you attitude for the rest of the day or play mind games with you or keep needling about it. You're going to mess up that play again, which is what a lot of coaches do. They coach you. They move on. They coach the next play. And they're not into playing head games and doing that crap that way. So I think that's where Cam Newton probably is finding that refreshing too. And he'll be able to handle the criticism when there is real film and like you're talking about.
The arrival of Cam Newton influenced me to put the Patriots all the way at number 4
Whoa.
on the PFT preseason power rankings. Look, how many times do we have to see the movie to realize that it ends with the Patriots close to, if not at the top of the mountain, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, the upgrade from Cam Newton over Tom Brady, and we talked about this last week. Tom Brady as of last year, it's an upgrade over Tom Brady as of last year.
Yes.
And if Cam Newton's healthy, he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And this may end up being the master stroke of Bill Belichick's career as a personnel evaluator. Getting Cam Newton when he was available to anyone, getting him for a contract that even if to get the full $7.5 million for a quarterback, he's got to basically be the MVP of the Super Bowl and the regular season. And that unlocks a whopping $7.5 million. I mean, this may end up being as impressive, if not more impressive, than what Belichick did all those years with Tom Brady. If they can press the buttons on Cam Newton and get him to play like he did a few years ago, this team's going to be there when it's all coming to a conclusion. And wouldn't it be great if it was the Patriots and the Buccaneers in Super Bowl 55?
Oh, it would be. I mean, that would be unbelievable. It really would be. I'm with you. How can you doubt the Patriots? I don't know if I would have put them at number 4 where you had them there, Mike. I might have had them a few spots down, like maybe behind New Orleans and a Seattle, but ahead of Tampa Bay, just to let you know where I was. Not that you give a damn, but I'm with you. You certainly can't count this damn team out. And, I know one thing we discussed when Cam Newton first got signed. I think there's a lot on this offense that fits the Cam Newton style of football more than the Tom Brady style of football, which, hey, spread it out, short passes, great decisions, get it out of your hand, accurate passes that way, do all that. I think this is a team that wants to play a little smash mouth football. And then what we saw from Brady the last 2 years, a little bit more of play action passes, aggressive passing. Now, Brady, I don't think was aggressive enough last year, and that led to the beginning of the end for the New England Patriots and Brady and all of that. But I think people are sleeping a little bit on New England's offensive talent. I think it's a little better than people realize. I think they're going to be creative and, of course, have some things up their sleeves as far as what they can do with Cam Newton. And then the defense was awesome last year. And I know Patrick Chung and Dante Hightower aren't there, but that's not enough for me to go, oh, they're going to fall off the earth on defense. No, it's the best secondary in football. There's no question about that still. And, I expect New England to be there when we're talking football in December for sure.
Couple of quick fill-in-the-blanks.
Yeah.
Number 1, next March, we will say that the Cam Newton experiment with the Patriots was what?
Brilliant. That's what I'm expecting. I'm getting more out of Mike. Remember where I said I thought it was going to be like 80% boom, and there was like a 20% bust factor of him not being able to handle the culture and the plays and the day-to-day details. Well, that's slowly erasing to where I'm already at 95 boom, 5 bust, because we're hearing that that's being overcome. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. Brilliant there. What about you?
I'll say entering year 2. That's what it'll be doing, because I think he's going to be
Obvious.
there. I think, but there's no
right,
guarantee that he's going to be back, and you don't know how he's going to react if they have to franchise tag him. How do you look if he has a great season and only gets $7.5 million? He's going to want to get paid after the fact for what he did last year. It's not going to be easy to do, especially if the salary cap drops to $175 million. But I think they'll find a way to get him to buy in and stick around, because if they win and they get close to a Super Bowl or get to one, and if they win one, he's not going to want to leave. All right, next one. After Julian Edelman, Cam Newton's most productive weapon will be who?
Ooh. I tend to want – there's 2 people, I think, in this conversation to me. I mean, I want to say I'm going to go with N'Keal Harry, a guy that we did not see a lot of as a rookie who dealt with some injuries. But he's a first-round pick. He's big. He's physical. He's awesome with the ball in his hand. And I think he's going to be kind of their weapon guy this year, Mike, in a lot of ways, where you might see him on the speed sweeps and throwing him wide receiver screens. He's got great hands as far as catching back shoulder footballs and things like that. So it's hard. Hey, there's Mohamed Sanu. I like him. They signed a Demir Bird from Arizona. He's underrated good. And Jacoby Myers, of course, had a solid rookie year. I think he'll be better, but my money's on N'Keal Harry.
I'm going to have a little fun here.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a little fun here. I'm going to throw a dart, and, if it doesn't hit, who cares? If it does, I'll claim credit for it for the rest of my life. Cam Newton's most productive weapon, other than Julian Edelman, will be Leonard Fournette. I said it.
That would be
Leonard
amazing.
Fournette. And it's just like the Earl Thomas. We have seen this so many times. Earl, I'm waiting for him to sign Earl Thomas. I'm waiting for him to sign Leonard Fournette. And I ain't going to be surprised if he gets both of them, Chris.
No, I hear you, Mike. And, this is, to me, one of the – if we have a question about the offensive side of the ball, to me, the running back is a little bit. Like James White, I almost went with him as the weapon to watch out for, because I think, again, with the misdirection in the backfield and Cam Newton and his ability to run, they'll be able to sneak James White out on these, Christian McCaffrey-type routes where Cam Newton hit him, the year he was healthy and they were 6-2 and doing all that. So I look at it that way. They do have Lamar Miller there, but running back is a question. Sony Michel has not been the guy they had hoped him to be as far as being a first-round pick. And being healthy has been an issue for him. And Lamar Miller's coming off of an injury. So I hear you, Mike. I would not be shocked if Leonard Fournette was, they put a claim in for him yesterday to get him off of waivers.
And here's the thing, with Cam Newton there, that may be the guy who presses the buttons to get the most out of Leonard Fournette. Very quickly, best case, worst case for the Patriots. Win the Super Bowl, lose the Super Bowl.
Well, win the Super Bowl for sure, yes. Worst case, okay. I'll say worst case, they just missed out on the playoffs. Okay, I don't say that lightly, but yeah, the worst case, just because I'd like to see Cam Newton and this team out on the field a little bit, but I could see maybe them hitting a few bumps in the road and him being a little off his game and getting used to things, and maybe them not always executing at a high level. So I'll say that's the worst case.
I think worst case is divisional round loss. This chaos is perfect for them. All of this upside down crazy stuff and coaches complaining about competitive disadvantage and how do we do this? Bill Belichick is just going to sit back and do his thing, and they are going to be factors. This team is going to be a factor. I believed it before Cam Newton. I believe it even more now that Cam Newton's there. And I say win the Super Bowl is best case, and, round of 8, maybe AFC Championship loss is worst case. All right.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.